First at noon, the Maui doctor accused of trying to kill his wife on Oahu hiking trail has been denied bail by a judge. Gerhard Koenig has been held without bail since his attempted murder indictment on March 28th. His wife says he tried to push her off a cliff, beat her with a rock, and attempted to inject her with needles while they were hiking at the Pali Lookout. Koenig's attorney asked that the 46-year-old anesthesiologist be given bail at a reasonable amount because Koenig was denied bail without a hearing and that the state did not present arguments that he was a flight risk or a serious risk to the community. Prosecutors today made their case.
When confronted by the police, the defendant fled and resisted arrest, and also the defendant has international connections to South Africa, his place of birth, where his brother currently is. A group of drugs that was found in a Nike fanny pack at defendant's home on Maui, including propofol, a drug that has been known to cause death.
I've been doing criminal defense now for over 20 years, and I can't remember the last time I had a client in which there was no bail set at all. And that's for cases that were similar or greater in the alleged offense and with clients with much more significant criminal records.
Koenig's wife has since filed for divorce. Now, the trial was set to start June 9th, but given today's ruling, Koenig's attorney is likely going to request an earlier date. We have new details on a shooting investigation from last week. It happened in the Nuuanu area Thursday when shots were fired at a group during a fight. We've learned it actually started Monday when one of the suspects asked a 33-year-old man to deposit checks for him that were later discovered to be forged. HPD says the two then agreed to meet, which then resulted in Thursday's violence. No one was injured in the shooting. The suspect, a 41-year-old man, was arrested for forgery, not attempted murder, and those who pulled the trigger are still on the run. A 12-year-old Oahu boy has been released from police custody after he was accused of assaulting the principal and security guard at his school yesterday. Police were called to Kawananakoa Middle School just before 10 yesterday morning. The boy was arrested for second-degree assault. He was later released while Honolulu police continued to investigate the case. On Maui, the driver involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash in Kihei has been arrested. It happened last night just after 9 at the intersection of East Lipua Street and Kupa Liki Loop in Kihei. Now, MPD says a red pickup truck was speeding when it struck a 70-year-old Ma'alaya man who was crossing the road. The driver drove off without stopping, and the victim died at the scene. His identity has not been released yet. Police say the truck was later spotted driving recklessly on Maui Veterans Highway. A 42-year-old Wailuku man was arrested for negligent homicide and collisions involving death. Speed and alcohol believed to be factors in the crash. Suspected serial road rage driver Nathaniel Radamak appeared in a Honolulu court yesterday. He previously served time for 8 road rage attacks in California, and Dylan Ancheta spoke to a woman who says she had a terrifying encounter with him last month off the road.
Walk up again?
Say that again. I walked past the machine he was using, and he came up behind me and said, "Hey, do me a favor, don't walk past my machine when I'm using it again."
Shocked at what she heard in that unprovoked moment, the woman stood her ground.
And I was so taken aback because I'm not one to be spoken to like that. So I just said, "Don't talk to me like that." And then he said, "You want to try me, bitch? I'll sock you right in your face."
And that's when she took out her phone to record.
What is your problem?
I'm telling you right now, things ain't looking good.
As tensions quickly mounted, the man then took a swing at the woman, alarming bystanders.
Why are you recording?
Get away!
Hey, what's going on? Okay, no, stop recording.
How close was he to actually hitting you?
It was a hair. It was a hair away. It happened so quick. I saw him getting close to me, so I was automatically I guess in defense mode.
After this, the woman used a screenshot of the video to do an image search of the man, and his face was matched with headlines of Nathaniel Radamak, who was convicted in Southern California in a string of road rage attacks. He was sentenced to a 5-year term, but out on parole after 10 months. The 38-year-old then made headlines on Oahu after an assault on May 7th in Kaka'ako. Court records show he assaulted 2 women who were parking on Halekauwila Street.
I heard somebody say slow down or hey, you know, I couldn't really hear it, but that's what it sounded like. And then a few seconds later, I saw the car make a U-turn and come back. And then I saw the guy go across the street and reach into the car and look like it punched her.
On Monday, Rademack appeared in court on unrelated traffic charges. Following his appearance, he was charged with 3 felony offenses for the May 7th attack: first-degree unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle and 2 counts of third-degree assault.
I wanted him to be caught, and I did not want him to hurt another woman because I knew it was just a matter of time. If no one did anything, he was going to do it again.
Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
President Trump's first major foreign trip of his second administration is in full swing with today's visit to Saudi Arabia. Now, the focus of this Middle East visit is business, but the president used the opportunity to make big political news that impacts the region. Tarian Small has the details from the White House.
Speaking at an economic forum in Saudi Arabia, President Trump announced he is ordering all sanctions against Syria be lifted.
It's their time to shine. We're taking them all off.
The president said he made the decision in part after speaking with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Gulf leaders have been rallying behind the new Syrian government, which overthrew the Assad regime last year in an effort to block Iran's influence there. During his speech, President Trump urged Iran to choose a new path or face the consequences.
If Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure.
The president landed in Riyadh earlier in the day, where the Saudi royal family rolled out the lavender carpet. After the two governments signed multiple agreements, the White House announced a $600 billion commitment from Saudi Arabia to invest in the U.S., including nearly $146 billion in defense sales, as well as billions for AI, energy, and healthcare. The next stop on this trip is Qatar. It comes amid reports that the small country has offered President Trump a luxury jet to use as Air Force One. That potential gift is sparking bipartisan criticism.
Qatar's not, in my opinion, a great ally. I mean, they support Hamas, and so what I'm worried about is the safety of the President of the United States.
This is not just naked corruption. It is also a grave national security threat.
President Trump has called the offer a great gesture, saying he could be a, quote, stupid person and say no. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Here at home, more help is on the way for Lahaina fire survivors looking to rebuild their homes. The county is partnering with nonprofits to fund what they call critical financing gaps. They're creating a deferred payment loan program for middle-income families who may not qualify for federal funding, and property owners must make more than 80% of the area's median income. The loans won't have to be paid off as long as homes are owner-occupied, and if homeowners decide to sell, they must sell to a local family.
Why that's important is because those are the homeowners who can't benefit from the federal funds that are coming available for disaster recovery.
Our number one goal here for all of our recovery efforts is to keep our community together and keep all of our families home. So, you know, if we rebuild buildings but don't recognize the faces within it, then we really have failed our mission.
The program launches this summer, but homeowners can enroll now. Head to our website for a link. Hawaii's governor says the Army still has a lot of leverage as they negotiate for a new lease at the Pohakuloa training area. That's even though the state land board last week rejected the Army's environmental impact statement detailing how the military would use that land on Hawaii Island. While the Army is considering an appeal, the governor says he'd like a deal that returns more military land to the state for things like housing and energy. But ultimately, he says the feds have enormous power.
Everyone that I've talked to in the military, and we've been having a lot of conversations about these lease negotiations, no one has ever brought up just seizing the property, any kind of eminent domain conversation. Everyone right now is 110% committed to negotiating and finding a path forward.
The military is also preparing EISs to renew leases in Makua, Kahuku, and Po'amoho. Army officials argue that the training sites are essential to national security, but they do aim to be good stewards and neighbors. And a heads up for beachgoers on Oahu's west side. Ocean Safety confirmed a shark sighting about 75 yards offshore at Pokai Bay. It's described as an aggressive 8-foot shark in the middle of the bay. Now, if you see a shark, please notify Ocean Safety personnel or call 911 immediately.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's take a look outside. We've got beautiful weather over the next couple of days. We've got a better chance for some windward and Malka showers on Wednesday and Thursday. And taking a live look from our tower cam, we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover out there, but overall sunny skies. Easterlies between 15 miles per hour, could get closer to 20 miles per hour this afternoon. 86 degrees for temperature right now, and expanding this out throughout the rest of this evening. You'll see some cloud cover build in over the next couple of days. We actually have a weak upper level disturbance that's going to be approaching the island chain. This is very high in the atmosphere and it's very weak, but you'll see cloud cover and an increased chance for showers as we're going into Wednesday and Thursday. You can see most of these showers are going to be focused over windward areas, but a few could move leeward at times. I'll give you the island by island first alert forecast coming up.
Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend takes the stand in his sex trafficking and racketeering trial. I'm Jared Hill with what she says about their violent relationship, plus why legal analysts say her testimony could be crucial.
Also ahead on This Is Now, communities throughout Hawaii and the Pacific are recognizing one of the region's most trusted and enduring nonprofit organizations. The jury in the Sean Diddy Combs trial heard from a crucial witness as his federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial entered a second day. Combs' former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, took the stand as a key prosecution witness. Jared Hill has more from New York.
The prosecution's star witness, Cassie Ventura, took the witness stand for the first time Tuesday, detailing her tumultuous 10-year relationship with Sean Diddy Combs.
I think she's very prepared. I think she understands that she'll tell the truth, whether it helps or hurts.
The R&B singer testified they started dating when she was 22, while she was signed to Combs' record label. She says the relationship became violent and the music mogul would frequently, quote, bash me on my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me. She says she also participated in drug-fueled sex sessions with other men to please Combs, feeling like she had no other choice. Ventura testified the encounters became a job, the longest lasting 4 days. Ventura, who's expecting her third child and noticeably pregnant on the witness stand, is expected to testify for 2 to 3 days. Prosecutors are trying to convince the jury that Combs turned his hip-hop conglomerate into a racketeering enterprise using lies, threats, drugs, and violence to force people to satisfy his sexual desires.
The key for the fact finder is to separate the emotion from the hardness of the description.
David Shapiro is a former Essex County assistant prosecutor and professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice.
Legally, defense doesn't have to put up any argument. The difficulty for defense here is that Mr. Combs comes with a lot of baggage.
The defense concedes Combs had violent outbursts, but maintains the encounters were voluntary and relationships consensual. Combs' attorneys have indicated they may call Ventura's husband as a witness to discredit parts of her story. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Here at home, it's a big week for one of the most trusted service organizations in our community. The Salvation Army is kicking off National Salvation Army Week, and Casey Lund is in Manoa with more on its impact in Hawaii and beyond.
Aloha from the divisional headquarters here for the Salvation Army as we recognize Salvation Army Week. We're in good company. Recently, the Salvation Army, of course, being recognized nationally during Salvation Army Week, but recently on Maui by Mayor Richard Bisson, honoring the 130 years of services that the Salvation Army has provided on the island of Maui. The governor set to sign a proclamation recognizing the work being done across the state. But of course, we know Guam, the Marshallese Islands, those are all part of the region served by our Salvation Army here in Hawaii. Your donations, all the things you do to help this organization stay right here in our communities. I want to introduce Captain Jolene Acock with us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today. I know you came down all the way from the North Shore, correct?
No, actually, just right here.
Okay,
but
right
that's
here.
where Camp Homalani is.
Yes, and that's what we're talking about in this segment, featuring, of course, the adult rehabilitation centers for the Salvation Army, all these services. But one of, I think, a favorite to talk about, for me at least, and to go up there and be at is Camp Homalani. And you just recently kind of took over there, you and your family, as the Walters, who were there previously. How have you been enjoying Camp Homalani on the North Shore?
We love Camp Homalani. Camp is in our blood, my husband and I, Captain David. And so we're really excited to be able to be a part of this special place that is Camp Homalani, right on the North Shore, getting to see kids come and experience something completely out of what they're used to, where they can come get friends, gain confidence, experience new things, but most importantly, to really come and have a space where they can meet Jesus.
I love that. And I want to talk a little bit about camp and some of the different camps that you guys offer there. Of course, different age groups and stuff. Tell me what we have to look forward to this summer. And are there still opportunities for folks to sign up?
Yes, so our camps are still all available to sign up. We have 2 camps that teenagers can come to. We have Senior Music Camp, which allows 12 to 17-year-olds to come for 8 whole days and learn new instruments or drama, things like that for a whole week, and we end with a really big, amazing concert at the end of that. And then at the end of the summer, we have a teen camp for 13 to 17-year-olds.
Awesome opportunity for kids to get to, like you say, experience things that maybe they don't get out of the city very often.
Yeah.
Get to go up there and have this cool experience and grow and develop all kinds of skills. So we appreciate all that you folks do up there, and of course throughout the Pacific region here with the Salvation Army as we recognize Salvation Army Week. Thank you so much, Captain Jolene. Yeah, and if you want to learn more, get connected with some of the services, including Camp Homalani, learn about how to sign up and all those things, you can go to hawaiinewsnow.com. We have all those details at a link in the As Seen on Sunrise portion of our homepage. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Hey, thanks, Casey. Stick around. After the break, we'll walk you through our first alert forecast. Breezy trades and showers expected throughout the rest of this week.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our First Alert Weather headlines. We've been talking about this over the past couple of weeks. Breezy trades and showers out there. A very summer-like pattern expected throughout the rest of this week. If we do see any rainfall, it's going to be mostly focused over Windward and Melka locations. Let's start out with our island-by-island forecast. Starting out on the Garden Isle over on Kauai, we've got scattered showers, partly sunny conditions, and notice the winds a little bit breezy at times. The windward portions of each island will be a little bit cooler with a better chance for clouds and also some rainfall. On Oahu, few windward and Melka showers, mostly sunny, 80 degrees in Kaneohe, 86 in town, and 85 in Kapolei. 82 in Hawaii Kai with some partly sunny, partly cloudy skies out there. Breezy over Maui County, east-northeasterlies between 15 to 30 miles per hour, 86 in Kahului, 85 in Kihei, and then moving over to Hawaii Island, 85 in Kona. Spotty evening showers, could see a little bit of fog over the southwestern portions of the island and the eastern portions over near Hilo. Around 83 degrees with some passing showers. The northern portions breezy. Some of those wind gusts, especially on the northern portions of Hawaii Island, could get closer to 25 to potentially even 30 miles per hour. Again, you can see it in our First Alert Futurecast. A little bit more cloud cover moving in over the state and some more moisture riding in along the trade winds. The best chance for rainfall again will be over the Windward and Melka locations during the overnight to early morning hours, but a few of these showers could move leeward each afternoon. We're going to continue to see this pattern throughout Wednesday and Thursday. There's a very weak upper level disturbance giving us a better chance for some showers out there. Our First Alert radar and satellite, you're seeing a few sprinkles out on the radar, not too much over Oahu. If anything, we've seen some rainfall along the northern portions of the Ko'olau near Laie and over near Kahuku and Maui County. We're also seeing some light rainfall moving in towards Hana and then Hawaii Island. Maybe some showers actually moving in closer to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park over the last hour or so. Kauai's been relatively dry and we're not actually seeing much cloud cover, maybe a few sprinkles over the Melka areas of the island. On our surf and shoreline forecast, north-facing shores around 2 to 4 feet this afternoon. West-facing shores are dropping and south-facing shores dropping as well, around 4 to 6 feet. East-facing shores a little bit rough and choppy out there because of these breezy trades between 3 to 5 feet. And your First Alert 7-day forecast, you can notice that increasing cloud cover as we're going into Wednesday and Thursday. Warm out there today, 87 for a high temperature, 86 for a Wednesday and Thursday. Stick around, we'll be right back after this short break.
All right, guys, time for some good news now. NASA researchers have done a deep dive on staggering images from millions of miles away, showing dancing lights in Jupiter's atmosphere.
And they finally are releasing them to the public. Jeremy Roth gives us a look.
Newly released images from NASA give a stunningly detailed look at swirling, turbulent auroras on our solar system's largest planet. Captured by the intrepid James Webb Space Telescope, the newly revealed images highlight an active auroral region on Jupiter, more intense and hundreds of times brighter than the ones seen on Earth. Auroras occur when high-energy particles from space collide with atoms of gas in the atmosphere, triggering a luminous light show. Researchers say they expected the Jupiter auroras to fade in and out slowly, but instead described them as fizzing, popping with light, and varying by the second. NASA says this observed variability will help scientists better understand how Jupiter's atmosphere works. And from a phenomenon millions of miles away to one at the bottom of the ocean, where deep-sea explorers say they witnessed the tail end of an underwater volcanic eruption. It may not look like much, but that's the point. Researchers diving in a submersible said just a day earlier this same spot was teeming with underwater flora and fauna, but when they returned, nearly the whole area had been entombed by dark volcanic rock, highlighted only by occasional glinting flashes of lava in the water. They believe the nearby Taika hydrothermal vent was the source, and experts say this was the first time an active eruption had been witnessed in the mid-ocean ridge region. Finally, here's an otherworldly sight that anyone in the Chicagoland area can check out for themselves. The city's Brookfield Zoo has reportedly debuted a newly redesigned facility that is now home to nearly 3 times as many moon jellyfish as before, providing a surreal sight that should leave fans over the moon. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Nature is wild.
Very cool.
We've covered the whole spectrum there.
I've never seen the Northern Lights. I really hope to one day.
Same.
It seems so beautiful.
On the bucket list. Thanks for watching, everybody.